Skype is Hárη Theοχάρη, the Greek Minister for Tourism, to give us his views there from Greece. Mr. Theοχάρη, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Just first of all, what do you make of the proposals today by the European Commission?
Well, we welcome the proposals as a step forward, and an important step forward at that. We, as a country, were the first to set this issue, the issue of tourism, as an item of the agenda, of the European agenda. And we're very happy that this position has gained traction to the point of today's announcements, which are, as I said, very important because they try to create the framework to have a coordinated exit from this unprecedented crisis.
But how do you have a coordinated exit without treatment, without vaccine? And then the next part of that question is, what was the point of the lockdown when you then open up a country and ask for tourists to come in?
Well, of course, this has to be done in a balanced way, in a way that keeps the safety of people first, but also allows under the specific conditions, under specific rules and hygienic protocols, the resumption of vacationing, of traveling, without taking undue risks. You know very well that Greece is one of the countries that has an excellent track record. The European Commission created a website specifically to show a comparison of different countries, and in that European website shows exactly where Greece's position is. So
I mean, there's no doubt that Greece has done well in this by mitigating, by locking down early, and they've kept the number of deaths and the number of people contracting the virus down. But then by opening it up, are you not then putting your population at risk of a second phase?
Well, we will not do that. We will safeguard the health of both our population and our visitors by ensuring, as I said, that depending on the agreements that we'll make with other countries and on a pan-European level, that we can use either tests or other means to limit the risk of spreading the virus. As I said,
if you look at South Korea,
our doctors together, it's very important to understand that Greece has allowed the experts, the health experts, to guide us through this process, and we're gradually putting our plans together to ensure that on each of the phases, the lockdown, the limited removal of the restrictions internally, and then the final stage of gradually opening up.
But can I, sir, put to you what South Korea has done? Because South Korea had a very strong track record, too, of tracking and tracing and then asking people to isolate based on the number of tests they did. And then they were able to, in turn, keep the numbers down. But just last weekend, one person was able to infect hundreds, we don't know, it could be much more, just by going out to a nightclub. And so if the tourism industry reopens, I mean, the damage based on just, for example, the number of asymptomatic people that exist that don't even know they have the virus.
Well, this is a real risk. That's why, as already we've done, we will take heed. We will see the experience of other countries, and we will try to limit the possibilities. I mean, we are, as I said, constantly talking to the experts and trying to create those protocols that will limit the possibilities. I mean, you can never live in a risk-free world, but you can limit the possibilities of A, importing many cases, and B, those cases sort of exploding
So you mentioned testing people as they enter your borders, for example. But what about movement of people within Greece, which is perhaps what you would want to begin with? I mean, how do you mitigate that when people are moving across the country and coming to other parts of the country? And your population, you have an elderly population as well. You also have hospital services, for example, on some of these islands and places that may not be able to deal with a sudden outbreak.
Well, that's why we have a fully operational plan currently in place to ensure that we will have adequate resources, and that's both people resources and any other resources needed in order to be able to test, in order to be able to quarantine, in order to be able to hospitalize people that are in need. That's, if you like, one side of this. But also, we are writing up in this week, as we speak, the exact protocols for every situation, for the air conditioning, for the beaches, for the swimming pools, for the hotels, for the transport, internal transport, and of course for the airplanes. So effectively, we're going through each and every activity that someone on a vacation might do, and we're, with the help of our experts, I need to stress that because it's very important, we're not doing it from a business point of view, we're doing it from a health point of view.
And speaking to the experts.
It's very, very important. We were guided by those experts.
Indeed.
We took the decision to trust them. We will continue doing so, because this is a political decision taken first and foremost by our Prime Minister.
Indeed, it's a fine balancing act, isn't it, between the two, the economy and the health of people. Mr. Theoharis, thank you very much for joining us.